This is United States estate planning technology drafted by expert estate planning attorneys. We combine the terms of technology experts with the expert technology planning attorneys to create the new technology that's being comprehensively estate planned to everyone. Thousands of hours went into the creation of these documents and the software platform to make it so easy for anyone to use. Again, my name is David. You see my name at the bottom, and this is my dashboard trying to introduce you to something that you need. Now, we call it the United States estate planning technology because if you're in the military or have any other reason to be outside of the United States and you'd like to set up your estate planning here in the United States, of course you can do so. But you would have to have proof to show that you are a United States citizen because this technology is designed for citizens of the states in the United States. So if you are from whatever state you're from, for whatever reason you have outside of the United States, this technology is designed specifically for citizens of the United States. Now again, we're going to introduce you to the technology in this process. This is wealth transfer allowance technology, estate planning, a legacy information for the United States nationwide attorney development and design information presented by me with the idea for you to understand the principles of what we're talking about. On the right and left side of this slide, we're showing you what you need to do in order to establish your own personal estate planning for your family. We got the cover, the welcome, we got the interview review, the revocable living trust. And what this is all about is for you to set up your own revocable living trust as opposed to you using a will, because a will go to probate. And the purpose of these data here is to show you how to avoid probate. So just think of the word probate, and then you have an idea of what and why this is so important to you. So for an example, if I were to have to go to court and I've done something that's against the laws of the United States, and the court attorney, the court judge can assign me to probation, or they could put me in prison for a set time. And when I get out, if it's not completed, they could put me on probation. Well, what's designed to understand, for you to understand, is that the word probate, we're trying to prevent you from having your estate or your legacy put into a probation type of status, for preventing you and your family from advancing whatever legacy you have. On the right and left side, we have put the tabs here to show you the various types of information or data that goes into your revocable living trust. And we're going to now go into the details to show you how to use each one of these tabs. Well, let's, for an example, look at the cover, the welcome. We got the interview, a review. We got the revocable living trust, certificate of the trust. We got the last will and testament. We got the financial power of attorney, the health care power of attorney, the living will, adversities, directive. We got the funding kit, and the document vault. These are different kinds of information and data that you're going to put into your trust and to your revocable living trust. And all of these data is now for you to show you how to use the technology that's been designed specifically for your use and for you to establish your revocable living trust. There are two types of trust. We're only going to talk about one. There is an irrevocable trust, and that's for persons who have already set up their trust, but they got difficulties with it, within terms to the funding and the funds within the trust. And one of the largest families in America right now is going through the process of arguing over a revocable trust that was set up by the father, and the children are still here arguing over it. Well, this revocable trust will prevent you from going to probate, but also prevent you from having arguments about your data that you have in your trust, because it will be in your own personal vault, which we're going to be introduced to within a few minutes. Hello. This is the definition of a revocable living trust. So without going and stopping this information and taking up more time than we would like to allot, the living will and the advanced medical directives is also a means for you to get an understanding. And we would like for you to pause this video, study these data. If you have to do research, you can do that as well. But above all, what you're getting, we want you to get an understanding of what we're presenting in this process. This is recommended for you and especially you, and as an advocate. And you'll see the advocate, my advocate identification number showing you that I am an advocate with the Wealth Transfer Allowance Company, which is stationed in the United States of America. Our headquarter address, as you can see, is on the screen. And if you had any reason to contact us, you can please do so. And we'll be more than welcome to give you an understanding of what we're really trying to do to help you and your family with your legacy before you transition. Okay, so now look, here's the technology. Your username and your email are basically the tools that you're going to need in order to set up your trust. Your username can be your email. It has to be a legitimate email. And your password, it has to be legitimate in order for you to get into your technology to establish your trust. And there's actually 4 steps. We're showing 5. The final is to where you put your data into your vault. But the first 4 is the interview. The second one would be review of your trust. The third would be the review. And the fourth step is in 2, the funding for your trust and your funding kit. These are and then the 4th final step is be where you put your data into your vault. So now let us get into these software to show your technology to show you how you're going to establish your own legacy using the point and click operation to do so. Don't get confused or upset over the fact that you may think you're doing something that you cannot do. If you can point and click your mouse, then you can prepare your own revocable living trust, and it's all proved by attorneys who spent years and years working on these data in order for you to use it and a means of educational for you and your family to set your trust. As I said earlier, regardless of where you are, it is for citizens in the United States or for citizens of the United States, whether they're within the United States or outside of the United States. This technology is still designed specifically for you if you live in whatever state you're from, but you're outside of the United States, whatever country you're in. If you're from that state, then you can use this technology to set up your revocable living trust for yourself, notwithstanding the fact that you may be outside of the United States. Now, let's get into the software now. This is the software. You see the darkened at the top, it says welcome. Right up under welcome, it has your information, the trust provisions, it has your children, the distribution options, adding people and organizations to your information. I'm not going to go through each one of these tabs because I put a picture here in order for you to see exactly what's being said. And say a picture is worth 1,000 words. So you see each picture is represented by the tab that's on the left side. So you see it says children and your estate plan. Well, that will be up under your children. And you see right next to that says joint trust or sub trust. That would be down up under the distribution option. And then the role, the estate plan role, you see, they're in step-by-step order to show you what the picture as to what you're going to be putting into your revocable living trust. And on the right side, we'll put information to show you the review. And one thing I want to point out is that my name, you'll see my name because this actually is my own personal estate software that I'm using to show you how easy it is for you to do the same. It's going to be like a duplicate copy of what you see. The only difference is going to be your name on your estate plans technology. That's all the difference will be. Everything else will be the same. We're just trying to show you how easy it is for you to navigate and set up your own estate planning for your family and set your legacy up while you are alive. And then you're going to designate the person or persons that you want to control your revocable living trust after you have transitioned. That's what we're talking about now. If you have, he can't answer your questions. I can't answer your questions should you have any, but there is a means for you to do so. As you're going to see later on, we put our contact information in for you to, should you have any questions, you can contact information office at our headquarters, and we'll be more than glad to answer your question. Now we're getting into the software. This is actually your information. You see at the top, right up under his darkened on the right side, and also on the center and the left side, you see your information. And right above that, you see your information. You see my name, my last name. All this is to show you how easy it is going to be for you to navigate your process. You put your spouse in, your address, and etc. All these data is on here to show you exactly what you're going to have in order for you to complete step one. This is step one. This is the interview section. As you can see, as you're preparing your trust, you will need name and contact information for your beneficiaries, name and dates and birth of your children, names and contact information for your trustee and or agent, about the hour and to complete the interview. You may want to change things over and over again. You can do that without using an attorney. Now, I have a friend that said, I have an attorney, and my attorney is going to set up my trust. Well, that's going to be a very expensive process, and usually it's into maybe from $3,000 to $4,000 or $5,000 in order for that to happen. Here, you don't have to have that. You simply purchase your software or your technology, and you just click on the tabs. After you log into your process, you'll see this duplicate copy of what you see here, and you just simply complete your personal information and save it and put it into your vault, and you're done. It really just, I said, it takes about 5 hours, 6 hours for you to do this. And if you need to go and get data or information to put in, then you go get it and put it in and save it and move on. But until you complete it and fund it, it's not going to do much good anyway. Now here again, this is a trust provision. You see on the left side, highlighted trust provision in darkened state. That means we clicked on that tab, and on that tab, it's giving you all information about the trust provisions. So you go down there and you study these data for yourself, and complete it, and put your name where you see it's supposed to be, put your information where it's supposed to be, and you move on to the next session. Then the next tab, you see your children. Your children is highlighted, and then you see the picture at the top right with the lady and her child, and at the bottom you actually see my children, just to show you how you can add children to the process, to show you these are my children and my grandchildren and my great grandchildren, just to give an idea of what's going to be in your revocable living trust and the legacy that you're leaving, and identify the families that you have and what you want to put into your revocable living trust. So it's just a so simple process, and we're making it as easy as possible and less expensive for you to do so, simply by just getting your technology and then using it over and over again, making whatever changes you choose to make. And then if you have to have something notarized or documented, then you would do that. And you also can put your will. Now, a will go to probate. I'm going to show you the information in a few minutes as to why you want to have your will, but you put your will into your revocable living trust, and should a probate court or anyone else want to see it, it will be into your trust, and then nothing will happen because it will be notarized and witnessed by those who are required to do so in order for you to have it. Okay, so watch this. Here again is the joint trust and the subtrust. You see on the left side, it's highlighted the joint trust and the subtrust. All these information is here to show you exactly what you need to do, and a tab to show you what's going to happen. And the distribution options is what's going to come up when you click on the distribution option tab. It's going to come up and show you the very important options in your revocable living trust, as you see on the left side. See, and on the right side is the role of your estate plan. I got see highlighted in dark is a role, and right up under that is giving you the information of the role. Now, one thing that you see in the quotes, I put this here just to show you the guardian, the information about the guardian is that this is the person who you would select to take custody of the responsibility for the dependent children in the event your death occurs or you become incapacitated. So this data here is to show you how to accomplish that feat just in case you do become incapacitated and can't do a next decision, but yet you're still alive. And should you transition, the same process would occur. So moving on, step two. See, that was step one. Now we're on step two. The estate planning and what will go on in your estate planning. You notice the estate plan. You're welcome to your estate planning portfolio. You see whose name, my name is there, and you see how your name is going to be where you see my name. And this is a process where you're reviewing the information that goes into your revocable living trust. So, and you see highlighted, it says welcome. What's being welcomed? You're being welcomed to your revocable living trust technology, and then you're going to review these data that you see. So the yellow tab, the blue tab, the red tab, and the green tab. You see those on the left side. You see the yellow tab on the left, on the right side, or also on the left side. You see your blue tab on the right and left side. You see your red tabs on the right and left side. Where the red tab is for your funding, and the green tab, that's the document vault. So all this information that you see is exactly what you're going to see when you go through the 4 steps that we're talking about. It's just 4 steps, and you're complete. Now your revocable living trust is established, and your legacy is already in the vault. Should you transition or to become incapacitated and can't think, do whatever you need to do in order to maintain your livelihood, then it's going to be already taken care of by you and put into your vault, and only you and the person that you designate to go in and out of your vault to make changes or to update information that you have in your vault. Now let's move on. I don't want to take up too much of your time. If you have any questions, again, there are means for you to contact anyone in order to get a question answered before you put your information into your vault. Again, step 3. Step 3 was, of course, is to review. Now we're going through the process. You see what's highlighted with darkened, and you see all of this information is darkened. At the top it says review for. So you're doing the review now. You're reviewing your information, and you're going down to your information that's got your trust provision, that's got your children, that's got your distribution options. It's showing the people and or adding on to organizations within your trust. It's got the beneficiary section. It's got the inherited and disinherited section, the trustee section, and the financial agent. So all of this data is within your touch of you clicking. All you have to do is just click on the information, and you would click on your information. You click on trust provision, and that's what you're going to see in step 3. Because what you're doing is reviewing what you've already done in step 1 and 2. It's just a review to make sure that you have accomplished in step 1. In step 2, what you should have done before you lock your information up into your vault. So step 3 is where we are now. It's only 4, so we're on step 3, and to show you how it's step. Now look down under the financial agent. You see whose name is showing in the financial agent's first 3 names. That's yours truly. So what's always doing is showing you the technology that you're going to have once you decide to do this. And I would, if you're 18 years of age, you do this. If you're 18 up to 118, you want to do this because you're going to leave a legacy. And I'm going to show you in just a few minutes of persons that you know, that you should have known, that's left a legacy behind up to the tune of $22 billion. Yes, it's over $22 billion cumulatively in the probate process, where there's just sitting there, and the probate court are not letting that out because it has to have proof that you are the person that's contesting, or either one that's try to get the information out of the probate court. So $22 billion, I'm going to show you a person that left $5 billion in the probate court, 1 billion. It goes on. We're talking about 22 billion, and it's going to perhaps hit the $1 trillion mark before, if we keep going at the rate we're going now, with regard to what's being shown. Now watch. Here's step 4. Well, before we go to step 4, let's finish up on step 3. Step 3 has got the healthcare agent, and you see the healthcare agents whose name is there. You see the advance directive. You see whose name is there. You see the option, the organ donations name is there. All this, as you see, your name will be throughout the process of your technology, because it's you that we're talking about. Whether you within the United States, if you're in the United States citizens, or outside of the United States, and there are people in the military who have families here. There's people in the embassies all around the world. There's different kinds of reasons that people are that are citizens of the United States that are living outside of the United States, but don't have the technology to set up their own legacy here back in the United States, just in case something happened to them while they're in another country, but yet citizens of the United States, if you can hear what I'm saying. So step 4 is you to fund your revocable living trust. And each trust has to be funded. If you set up your revocable living trust and don't fund it, you wasted your time. So what you want to do is fund it. I'm going to give you some detailed information in just a minute to show you how you want to fund your revocable living trust. So it's 2 steps here. We're talking about you funding your revocable living trust, and also you having a step 2 is a funding kit. And we'll show you the funding kit in just a minute. And this is a very, very important step, because if you don't complete step 4, then you waste your time on 1, 2, 3. Step 4 is where you actually take the fund, because the next step 5 is where you're going to lock things away into your vault. So step 4 is very important. You've completed step 1, you've completed step 2, you've completed step 3, or you may have to go back and make changes to each one of those steps. It's okay. You can lock it up because you have the access to your vault. You can unlock your vault, go back up and change something in step 1. You can lock it back up and go back and change something in step 2, because you're in control, especially until you get to the point that you're no longer in control. That is, if you've transitioned or you're in a incapacitated form and can't do that for yourself, then someone else is doing it. But until that time, you're in fully control. So step 4 again is the funding kit. I put the arrow there to show you where you are within each step. Okay, so now look, here is something that's very important for you to know about this funding kit. The funding kit is where you put your asset. A is equal to L plus P. Now, I am an accountant, but what I'm saying to you is that your assets plus your liability, and in this case, you have no liabilities. So in this case, you just have your assets and you, the proprietorship. You are the proprietor, and your assets and you are equal. So that's when you set up your revocable living trust, you become the trust, because your assets is in your trust and you are on the assets in your trust. There are no liabilities in your trust. The only thing that's in your trust are your assets, and you are the assets, if you can hear what I'm saying. Now we're going to show you another part of step 4. This is where you're funding your revocable living trust. You're funding your revocable living trust, things like your home, your cars, your boats, and the different kind of things. In just a few minutes, I'm going to show you all various types of different kind of assets, and these are assets that's funding your revocable living trust. And the tabs, again, we're not going to go through that, because you can stop this video and read all of this information about your funding trust. And on the right side, your funding trust, you can continue reading all this information. Now, I've underlined in red down at the bottom, on the left bottom, is the click to start each kit. So when you click there, you're going to start putting your assets into your revocable living trust. You're going to put your assets into your revocable living trust. So both right and left side is asking you to click to start your kit. See, your kit is where you're putting your assets into your trust. We're funding your trust, but the kit is where you put your assets into your revocable living trust. Can't emphasize that more because it is the most important step that you're going to take, because all of the other 1, 2, 3 steps, that's personal information about you, your family, your children, etc. But now we're talking about you putting your assets into your legacy, as sort of short word, because it's your legacy that you're controlling, and what you're going to leave behind to the children, the grandchildren, the great grandchildren, or whosoever you leave it to. That's going to be into the funding process of you doing this as we go forward. Okay, now watch this. This what is an asset? Well, many people may not know what an asset is. So I want you to stop this information and show you just your personal assets like your home, okay, your savings account, your life insurance policy. If you got a business, the inventory that's in your business, the cash that's in the bank, all this is a different kinds of asset, but it's also a means for you to have a tax write-off. And down at the bottom, here's show you, you consult the IRS for various tax credits. Yes, you can also get tax credits for various types of assets that you're putting into your revocable living trust. So you may have to consult your accountant, your CPA, or someone that's in the tax professional to show you what kind of asset that you have into your trust that are there, but not necessarily your hands on for you to use it. So you want to make sure that you study all this information. Stop this video, share this video if you choose with loved ones in your family or someone that you can trust, so they can give you ideas just in case you don't know. But I am going to show you also persons who should have known but didn't know and didn't take advantage of the situation, waiting on to get started to do so, and never got started. And you don't want to wait break bridges, as our mother used to say. So make sure that if you have the withdrawal, and you do have the withdrawal, because all it takes a little time to start this process. And once you start it, then you are now starting, and it won't take you but 5, 10, or 15, let's say 2 hours, and you finish with the process. Now here are the different kinds of assets that one may wish to consider while setting up a family revocable living trust with legal documents. Look at the different kinds of assets, example of the different kinds of assets. See the cash, equivalency, accounts receivables. This is for a person that's got something that outside. This is all the different kinds of assets. Properties, all different kinds of assets. So classification of the different kinds of assets. And on the right side, you see your current asset, you see your fixed assets, you see your classification of assets and physical existence, and intangible assets. These are different kinds of assets that you're going to have, you already have. I'm sure most persons got cash, most persons got home, cars, things of that nature. These are the different kinds of assets that goes into your revocable living trust. And you stop this and study it, share it with other persons, give them ideas so they can see it, especially your family members, your brothers, your nieces, your nephews, or persons that's going to set up their revocable living trust and may not have the information that you have. So you want to share it, especially with your family, so that their family members and their family members can set up their own trust. It's just as simple. That way, you're going to avoid anything going into your probate. And probate is where, say that word probation, the court puts your estate, your property, your assets, they put them on probation. And no one can bother those assets while the probate court have jurisdiction over your information. So your will go to probate, and the court has jurisdiction over your estate, and it's in probation, just like you do if the court put you on probation. The court has a jurisdiction over your freedom, and you are on probation until the court releases the probate status of you. And it's going to be the same thing with your estate. This court puts your estate in a probation status, and no one can take or move anything with until the court gives you permission to do so. Now look, I want to take a drink of water. This is the final step. There's no only four, but this is the final thing that you do. Your revocable living trust is now set up and ready to be funded with your estate planning documents locked into your vault. So this is how your vault would look. You're going to lock your information away into your revocable living trust data, the information that you put in, you're going to put it into your vault, lock it up. And whoever, only you and whoever you designate to go in and out of your vault can go in and out of your vault. And you can go in and out of your vault, make changes to anything from step 1 down to step 4, make the changes and lock it back up. That's just simple. And then should you transition, it's already locked up, it's already completed, and the court, if you put a will into your revocable living trust, you can take the will out because your will now has been notarized, and you give a copy of the will to the court. There's nothing the court can do, the probation court. There's nothing that they can do because you already notarized it and letting the court know this is witness and it's legit, and the court can't do anything. There's no arguments over it because it's now in your trust and you are the trust. There's no arguments about it. No changes to be made after it's locked into your vault unless you make the changes. Now, the estate gift, I'm going to a little step up now. This is 2 steps in one. I'm making an understanding here now for you to get an understanding of the estate and gift tax frequent asked questions that one may have. And you may have different kinds of questions because there are some tax advantages for you to set up your revocable living trust. Yep, there's some things, your assets that's in your trust can't be done or moved or won't be taxed according to our laws within the United States. So you want to make sure you get an understanding of the process. Now, down in the yellow, in the it says estate planning technology detailed video right above that. That's the video. Make sure you copy this video and put it into your URL and get an understanding of what's being given there. Also, you see irs.gov/tax reform, where you want to get an understanding of the tax laws as well from the IRS. Or you can share this with your tax accountant or your accountant and let them give you a better understanding of the process. Now, we're almost at the end of this. I just want to re-emphasize to you is that what we're talking about is for you to get an understanding. Now, this is a form that's given. See, the United States estate, see what as this is something that you need to know that you may not have known about. This form 706. You want to get familiar with this because it was revised in 2019, which means that it's in effect today, and we're in 2025. This is pages 1 and page 2. You can study this form, or you can have your tax accountant or your accountant or someone who knows something about what we're talking about to give an understanding of the United States estates tax return. And this is the generation that's skipping the transfer. See, this and the generation of skipping the transfer. So what we're talking about are you setting up your own revocable living trust and having the assets that you have in your trust not to be jeopardized at any time for any reason, because there are laws that's protecting your revocable living trust. And you want to get familiar with those laws as you possibly can while you are living. And then if you want to make changes to anything that's in your revocable living trust, you make the changes and lock your vault back up. That's what we're talking about now. Here, again, there's something. I'm going to take a little time on this to show you. These are persons who fail to set up their revocable living trust. They just didn't do it. They didn't have a will. And you see all these monies that we're talking about, of the $22 billion that we're talking about in the probate, these persons here are part of that money that's in the probate court. Marilyn Monroe, for those who may know who she is, maybe if you're 18 years of age, you may not know who Marilyn Monroe was, but she left $370,000 in probate. Look at Daisy Duke. Daisy Duke left $1.3 billion in probate court. Well, look at James Brown. You may not know, but if you you know James Brown is still on TV and radio because his records are still just being played. He has radio stations that are still functioning, and he left $100 million in the probate court. 100 million in the probate court, and his radio stations are still functioning, but it's still in probate, and they can't get out of probate. So the probate court is still making money off of James Brown's legacy, if you can understand what I'm saying. Well, look at Warren Burger. Those who don't know, Warren Burger was a Supreme Court judge. He left $1.8 million when he passed away, a transition, and it's probate, went to probate. Don't know if it's still there now, but he was probate. Look at Jimi Hendrix, very young fellow, uh, passed away, age 27 years old, and he failed to set up his revocable living trust because he assumed that he was too young to set up one. Another 27 left $80 million, and I'm almost sure that Jimi Hendrix, some of his royalties are still being put into the probate court because some of his records that he made are played all over the world, and the royalties goes into his estate, and his estate is in probate. Helmsley left $5 billion in probate, and there are persons, Michael Jackson, whose name is not here, left money in the probate. Michael Jackson, yeah, all that moonwalking, but he still just transitioned to the Lord, but his estate went to probate, and it's $22 billion. $22 billion is in the probate court. We're saying 1.8 up here, but it's 22 billion. Instead of 18 billion, it's 22 billion as of today. But when this data here was put in, it was at 18 billion, but it's now has grown up to 22 billion. Now I'm going to digress on all of this and move on at the conclusion of this. I just want to give an idea of what you're going to lose by not taking advantage of the technology that's been presented. It's only 4 steps. Go back, play this recording over and over again, share it with people, sit with other people and share it so they can give you an understanding that you may not have. And God said, above all, get understanding. How are you going to get it? As long as you get understanding, you got it. And then take advantage of it while you're there, because it's a real reason for you to do it. Real reason for you to do it. One thing, your legacy is involved. Your family's legacy is involved, and it doesn't cost you but just a little time. Didn't say money. You do have to take some money out one day and put it back in. You take money out of your right pocket, for an example, and put it into your left pocket. The money is still in your pocket. But if it takes you 2 days to get it from your right pocket to your left pocket, it's still in your hand. Yes, it's still your money. Yes, but you're just changing size of the pocket from the right to the left. But it's still your money in your hand. That's how this process works here. Your legacy is going to be funded by you, but to get the legacy, you have to take money out of your right pocket, put it into your left pocket. It's still in your pocket. All right, moving on. Now, in conclusion, this is what we're talking about. In 23, Yahoo Finance said that $53 trillion of the $84.4 trillion will be transferred. Look at the street. All this is in 23. $84 trillion in assets will be handed down to millennials and members of the Generations X. That's the street. But look at Forbes. Forbes in 23, the great wealth transfer from the baby boomers and the millennials will impact the job market and the economy. It will. You notice the word will is there. Now, a will go to probate, but you don't have to worry about that if you establish your revocable living trust. It's just that simple. And what I'm explaining to you is it's going to initially cost you the money in your right pocket, but you put it in your left pocket and you still have not spending the money. It's still in your pocket. Look at the New York Times. It said $84 trillion will be transferred within the next decade. We're in 2025, okay? So by 2045, They are saying that $84.4 trillion will be transferred. You need to hear what's being said and take it heed, because you will gain if you take action. If you stand still, it's zero, and zero plus zero is zero. Take no action, you get nothing. Act and it shall. But if you move not, you will receive not. Sit on it, it won't move. Get up, it will go with you. All we're saying is that you need to take advantage of this. Now, look, this is my last plea. My name is David Richardson, and what I've done is give you a wealth transfer technology, a personal demonstration just for you. This is just for you. I'm a graduate, yes, of the University of Arkansas, and the Lord Himself is my plan A. I have a plan B, I have a plan C, plan D, plan E. I have a different kinds of things that I work on from time to time. But the Lord Himself, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, 1 plus 1 plus 1 equal one God, is my plan A. But I also have different kinds of plans. Yes, I have a BS degree in accounting from the University of Arkansas. I have a master's in accounting. All this is my accomplishments. The primary two that I have accomplished is when I finish and get an understanding of the book of David and the seven spirits of God. That was amazing, and that is amazing. And I pray in Jesus' name that you can understand and get an understanding of the seven spirits of God and that are within you. And that way, all of your plans are then outside of the box. You have to no longer live inside of a box. As you see, my picture is inside of a box. 1 plus 1 plus 1 equal 1. Me, myself, and I equal me. The Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit equal God. So God is in each one of us. The Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit is inside of each one of us. All we have to do is to get outside of the box and take action on whatever we want to do. Is that ask and it shall be given, seek and you shall find, knock and it shall be open unto you. For everyone who asks for it receives it, or he or she who seeks it will find it, and to him or her that knock, it shall be open. So all you and I have to do is put our mind to set, and the spirit inside of each one of us are going to take care of itself. So make sure if you're a self-employed individual, make sure you adhere to the wealth transfer allowance benefits, because this is for you, the self-employed, and you can have group rate health insurance at a very, very reduced rate offered by companies like Blue Cross Blue Shield and other companies that's offering the group rate health insurance. This is just for you to get an understanding of what we're presenting. I'm concluding this. I thank you for letting me spend so much of your valuable time with you. This is David. Bye-bye. I love you.